you know what's going on right now. So
The
they're saying
protests.
certain left-ish type stuff because racism's bad, people. Police brutality is bad,
Yeah. So you're
and some
saying
people on the far and some people on the right are like, "Whoa, you're going left on us." I've seen that. I've seen that. I'm just like, bruh, this isn't. Even if you try to look at this objectively, like the George Floyd situation is literally open shut. It's not
hmm
even. You can't say you. And one of my problems with some of the conservatives is it's because I have I'll respect you no matter what. Um, but when you say, "Oh, you should have just listened," or "You should have just been complicit,"
how
or "You
about to the
should have just
cop?
followed directions," you're right.
Yeah.
But but we have little evidence that that doesn't matter,
Yeah, for sure. Um,
and that's where I'm just that's what kills me. And when I hear that, I'm just like, that's my only issue really with the right.
but
Everything
again,
else is okay, but
that
that's not.
that generally also comes from a like people just not thinking to into the issue far enough. I
Right, it's
think.
because in some cases that was true. Where yeah, sometimes it may have been the case where it was, you know, maybe cursing at a cop doesn't help. But either way, at the end of the day, did that really matter? That cop was gonna go AWOL anyway.
Yeah. You well, cursing out cops also shouldn't be a death sentence. Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly. I
that's
mean, that's the end all be all. But we
yeah.
don't even get that far in the conversation to say that. So
Um. Same with the more recent one was where that guy was drunk and grabbed the taser of the cop. Um. Now I heard one person tell me he was like, well, that's a very dangerous situation for the cop. Because oh shit, that was just because if that guy had been able to tase the cop and grab his gun, that could be the cop's life. But on the other hand, apparently, and he told me this before I actually like knew information about this situation, but apparently the guy got shot in the back, which means that he was running away, which means that there was no danger to the cop. Not only that, the cop had a partner. So, like,
I see
yeah,
what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly the problem. And then you know, people just false equivalencies are happening way too much too.
yeah. But so are you saying that people are having a problem with certain right wing personalities agreeing with the George Floyd situation, that it was a bad
Yes.
situation, and calling them left wing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
haven't actually seen that
And the
myself, but
shaming of cops because apparently liking cops is just a right thing.
well,
But
well, one of
I
the
don't
go
get
ahead.
that.
Yeah, one of the weird things about today's political sphere is that everything becomes political and everything becomes left versus right. We saw that with the coronavirus and the wearing masks thing. Like, why is wearing a mask a political issue? That's a public health issue that most every expert agrees we should be doing, and most
There's
especially
stuff
this
saying
pandemic.
there's articles saying that experts are saying we might as well just open up everything now. But there's a whole lot of can of worms in that too that I can go into. Like the fact that neither side is necessarily partisan, but I see the right accusing the Democrats of all being in for a lockdown. You know, because the democratic nature is big government, so they're assuming that.
Well, most Democrats are for a lockdown, and there's very good reason for that.
Yeah, but they're also upset because our government has failed to take care of businesses
That is
and
true.
make sure they're making money. So certain, you know, I mean, I know I wasn't like this until I looked into it, but I can't understand because certain businesses, you know, people need money to feed their family, and they're not able to support themselves because they're not getting any money.
Yeah. But see, people are falsely equating that to to the lockdowns. Like, yes, the lockdowns directly caused that, but it was the government's responsibility to make sure that people were
Yes,
taken care of.
exactly.
and they
Exactly. Like if
failed.
anything, all right, I shouldn't interrupt. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was done. The government failed. That's my point. Not
Yeah,
the
and
right.
that's what I don't understand from the right. I'm like, if anything, this is what you should be mad at Trump for, because this is showing that regardless of left or right, the corporations are in charge, and we're all losing, and they're pretty much it's it's kind of like how white supremacy and racism has the black community at odds with itself all the time. But like their corporations are pitting the left and right against each other when really you guys shouldn't be for big business because look who's getting bailed out.
Mhm.
They got bailed out at first before anybody else, and I would look at stories of local businesses that I follow, especially in New York, and they'd apply like 5 times to get the loan
Yep.
and weren't approved, and it doesn't make sense.
I have a story where somebody in my life had applied for unemployment months ago, and they just now got somebody to call them and be like, hey, this is what's going on with their unemployment.
Yeah, they're pretty much banking on unemployment is the only way you can get any assistance right now.
Which is ridiculous.
And
Um,
yeah, I think it should because not everybody's going to even have access to a computer to do that, or phone, or time to get on the phone to do that. I think that's just it's very much a what do you call it when what is the word when you like a silent ban, or you like get certain group of people have access and certain group don't.
I
Like
don't.
it's like these people don't even have a chance, so you're basically excluding all the people in poverty who don't have time or access to get online.
Yeah. Well, it's not just lack of access. It's on the state level. States are having massive trouble funding their unemployment programs, um, and keeping up with the demand and such. And that's a part of that is because mostly the Republicans are not willing to fund states the way they need to in order to take care of their people. And it's not just the Republicans either. It's a lot of establishment Democrats have really dropped the ball on this. Like they claim that people like Nancy Pelosi claim, oh well, we want to give you guys more stimulus. We want to give you guys this, that, and the other thing. But those darn pesky Republicans are getting in the way. But like,
That helps nobody. Like I don't get that rhetoric.
well, it's also like, well, they're able to get in the way because you already gave them what they want, which was the bailouts for the big corporations. Like once you gave that away, you gave away all your leverage, and it's almost like your ineptitude when it comes to actually passing what you want is almost seems like it's on purpose at this point. I mean that's
I
just
see
what it
what you're
feels like to
saying.
me.
I see
Uh,
what you're saying.
I mean, it's really kind of conspiracy theory territory, but like
Yes, but
if you really wanted that, you would have pushed for that in the first bill. You wouldn't have been like, "Oh, we're going to pass this first bill that gives Republicans everything they
did
want."
you see the post that said this was basically for show and that it wasn't designed to get passed? This is for mostly for votes, so people
That's what
paying
it feels
attention
like. It's what it feels like to me.
and read they can read the headline and say, "Oh, well, they're trying to push this." They're not saying whether it passed or the fact that it was defeated, but they're saying they tried. And they're gonna just see the headline and be like, "I'm gonna vote for the Democrats because they
Mhm.
did this."
Mhm. Exactly. And it's. I mean, maybe the systems of governments is really set up to where they're so inept, but like, or where they really can't and they really want to, but I'm just not feeling it. It doesn't seem like it to me. Um, either they're doing it on purpose or they are just so ineffective that like they might as well be doing it on purpose, you know?
I think in some type of way there. I mean, I think the whole problem started with the lobby system getting out of control, but and that's the start of corporation business influence in politics. And as soon as that happened, we lost the Republican Party to what it is today. We lost the
Mhm.
Democratic Party too, and it's
Yeah.
never been the same since.
I agree, but I'm going to say it with a caveat to where I haven't actually done much research into the effects that lobbying actually has on the government. So I'm agreeing based off of a feeling that I have, because I have seen people, influencers online, that I respect and generally believe that they are not going to purposefully give misinformation, claim that there have been studies that have shown that lobbying and money doesn't really have that much of an impact on politics, but I feel like that's wrong.
But it's like, hey, it's kind of it's just like the super PAC thing. It's like, hey, we have all this money, and we're technically you shouldn't have this much, but found a loophole. We won't tell if you won't if you just make sure you do this for us when you get elected.
Yeah. And like there are instances of lobbyists actually like writing whole bills to be presented to Congress, and it's like if a corporate lobbyist has that power, then like what? How is that not? They're literally writing the bills. How is that not influence?